Yep. Boom. All right, good sir.
All right.
Welcome to the Novichenko Whips. Your name?
Colton.
Colton. Let's go check out your Blobeye. I was complimenting the flares. Is it a straight pipe? Like
Yeah.
home welded?
I made it at work.
Pretty loud.
Yeah.
Nice and somewhat droney on the freeway.
Not too bad at the lower RPMs.
These are cool. These remind me of like when I was a kid. Like these were like what you would spec on the Need for Speed Underground.
Yep.
These mirrors.
Aesthetically, they're great. You can't really see much out of them.
Can't see much.
Yeah. I spent about 14, 15 months just working on this after school.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 2-liter block, bored over 1 millimeter to 93 mil.
Okay.
It has the factory nitrated crank in there.
Okay.
OEM
Yeah.
crank.
New ones.
All King Max P-coat bearings, and it's got the Manley H-beam Tough Series rods.
Okay. I've used those.
The Manley Platinum Series pistons.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the heads, we have the full valve train kit from IAG with the titanium retainers, just stock size valves, but the heads are ported.
Okay.
On both intake and
For
exhaust.
flow?
Yes.
I've done that myself too, just for fun.
Just the stock intake for now, TGV deletes, and then IAG rails with the -6 line, a pretty common setup for these.
You have pretty big injectors, 1300s?
Yes, 1300 cc's.
Do you plan to run E85? Maybe?
Maybe at some point.
Okay.
I'd have to get the sensor and everything. It's just not
You're right.
readily accessible out where we live.
There's like one exit here that has it, like 20 minutes away.
I think it's a 50-minute drive
Mhm.
for us just to get to the station that has it. Killer B, hard intake, Blouch 1.5 XTR turbo, the Tomei unequal length headers with the up pipe. Pretty old school perrin catless downpipe. Came on the car when I bought it. It's
Mhm.
got the big bell mouth on it.
I like, what brand front mount is this?
Turbo XS.
Okay. Yeah, because I know there's a lot of a lot of copies of this exact kit on eBay and stuff. I probably even had one that was an eBay knockoff. Because I know different kits will route off the turbo either to the left or to the right. It really depends. And it fits pretty good.
Yeah, they advertise this kit as not needing to cut the fog lights.
Yeah.
I still had to.
Yeah, usually.
It wasn't a big deal.
Most people get rid of the fogs. I like how you left one to kind of do a cool intake duct.
Yeah, so when
That's
I bought
the plan.
the car, it had the JDM, the 3-inch fogs on it. That's
Yes.
where I got that bezel from. One day when I was driving, one of the bezels flew out.
Mm.
And if you go on eBay, you'll see they're not cheap to replace.
Mm-mm.
So I bought the covers, and then when I did all this, I decided to put that one back on just to...
Super easy thing to do. I know you kind of routed this forward. You could route this cone more to this hole, kind of.
Yeah.
I know it goes either way. I think Cobb usually routes it this way. And then you could easily do some like home makeshift ducting from there. You can make it look pretty in there, but it doesn't really matter how the ducting looks in here to direct cool air to the intake. What I always find is all this heat right here, it just emanates
Right on
out. Yeah, and it goes away as you drive. But if you're at a stop sign or a stoplight, the intake temps spike well over 120.
Okay.
You know, and then people want to rip it from a stoplight, and then you get knock. It's usually not a concern as you're driving. The front mount helps a lot. It's the people with like a top mount that's already cooking, and then they're cooking the intake. It's like you're not getting everything you could out of it.
That's part of what made me go with Turbo XS again, is I had their top mount on the car before I did all this, and it was great. Never had any heat soak issues.
I also recommend, like, this is extra. I know you don't want to go under all there, but if you ever need to get to the turbo, slap like a blanket. Even like an Amazon $30 Kevlar blanket, like this area will be much colder right above the turbo because it'll retain all that heat in there.
Okay.
Are you equal length?
No.
Unequal.
Unequal.
Nice. I like the sound of unequal.
Me too.
Equal does make a little more top end smooth power. You can feel it kind of towards redline, but I just love the rumble.
Yeah, that's why I went with the straight 3-inch too with the unequals, as I wanted the old rally-esque sound.
It has that. Now, this is your fuel pressure regulator.
Yep.
Are there return lines on the rails? Because I know some rails, they cap them.
Yes. It's out of feed, splits into a Y.
Yeah.
And then I have them wide back together.
Into
on
a
the
return.
Into
Okay.
the regulator, then back to the tank.
So I had my last STI, and it had a capped rail. Some people say that's not great because your fuel doesn't return from here. It returns just from the regulator. So the fuel in the lines keeps getting hotter, right? When you have this constant feed and return from the rails, the fuel is cooler because it's cycling back to the tank. So I can see a benefit there, but I had less plumbing. You know, it was just 2 lines to them, and that's it. Some kind of interesting design. Is that a true, like, Greddy blow-off?
Yes.
Not leaky or anything? Some of the knockoffs are a pain sometimes. We can grab a smoke tester. All I do is just pull off that blue line,
Okay.
connect to my smoke tester, just run it for 2 minutes, and see if smoke comes out of anywhere other than the intake. And then if it doesn't, then we're good to go log and turn it up even more if you want.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
You said the boost is hitting what now? 18-ish?
I think 20.
20-ish?
That's fairly common.
Okay. Sweet. Are you more of like are you more looking to do freeway runs? Because then I have to be considerate of like what boost you'll hit in the higher gears versus like, back road, carving. What's your approach to fun driving?
A little of both. Mainly
Little of both.
off the freeway, though.
Okay. Yeah. The thing, what happens with Subaru is they don't control boost by gear. And so I can try to, people want 20 PSI in first gear.
Yeah.
If you give that means your wastegate duty cycle is really high. And when you hit 5th, 6th gear, it gives you the same wastegate duty cycle and you overboost by 5 PSI. And so it could hit fuel cut unless we really raise the ceiling for fuel cut, or you kind of tune for 3rd, 4th gear, like a medium. And so you'll overboost tiny bit in the high gears, but you'll underboost slightly in the 1st and 2nd gear. But it's a happy medium place. But I'm sure it'll feel fine. Having done this similar setup, like Joel's Carberry tune looks similar to yours in a way. And his setup is, different turbo. I did a car yesterday, and the guy has the same turbo, but his wastegate is shut. It was spiking to 30 PSI like in a second. And I'm like, man, this thing spools so quick. Yeah, I was shocked. I'm like, how are we hitting 30 PSI like right after 3K RPM? So that's a different issue we're figuring out. We're trying to get his wastegate to open. Is it internal or external wastegate?
External.
External,
Tile
okay.
38 mil.
Yeah.
And then I have the 4-port electronic controller.
Oh, okay. Most people just run the 3s, but I guess 4-port is even cooler. I'm pretty sure it's working right, but the most common tuning issue is people get the lines wrong, so it doesn't open quite right, but I'm sure it opens.
I made sure I got them.
Yeah.
I've heard it open a couple times too, high 3rd gear.
Your initial bass tune, did you do it yourself?
No, my good friend Zach did it for me.
Sweet.
He tunes his own Subarus and has several, so he...
It looked pretty good.
Willing to help me get it dialed in enough to get those break-in miles off of it.
What oil do you run?
For break-in, I did the Motul 1040, and I have VR1 1030 in here right now.
Pretty low mileage. 1030 is fine. I always tell people if you're a high mileage Subaru, go up to a 40 weight. But I like Motul. I use it in all my stuff. Let me grab the smoker.
All right.
And we'll give it a shot. Do you know how people reuse the scoop for other stuff? Like people that are like actually into track racing, they'll put like an oil cooler up there.
I have seen that.
You've seen that? It still does something, right? It pushes air maybe to help it direct it down
the pipes.
under the car, under the pipes. It helps with cooling. But you probably removed all the fins. They usually go inside the scoop.
Yeah, those weren't even there when I bought it.
Okay. They actually do a lot for a top mount. They help. What about like 92 pump gas? You presumably, what was interesting, the only knock we saw in your logs was just under smooth driving, and I think that just needs a little more dialing in for like cruising. Any log that you sent me wide open throttle, I saw like no knock. So we could probably even up the timing a little bit, by a degree or so, and it might be happy with it. Yeah. Today's a cool day. On a hotter day, it might be might complain a little, but it should be all right.
Set up like that. This is a rally car. We go to Olympus Rally every year.
Mm-hmm.
So he has a secondary intercooler up here, and then an oil cooler here that goes under the vents.
Wasn't there a guy that like supercharged and turbocharged his Subaru? Like did both or something? That is wild.
The guy with the Ferrari swapped Blobeye
also
goes out to that rally.
Okay. This thing looks clean. Is it freshly painted in any way?
The flares are.
Okay.
The rest of it's the factory paint.
Yeah, it's a good shape. Let's grab the smoker. I'm gonna record for people what we do to smoke test. Pretty straightforward. The easiest port is always just to pull this guy off. Unless it's
been on there.
It's been on there forever. Find me another easy hose to pop off the manifold. Or the one on the T, yeah. Just don't lose that little bit. Of course, it's hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll get you a zip tie after if you need it more secure. The IAG separator is really good. Definitely, yeah, you might have to shove it in there. Not like super far. It produces like 1 psi of. But yeah, just run it, and then if we see smoke, we'll take a look. But most common spots are just like PCV area, or like a small leak and like one of these vacuum lines. Do you have your IEG dumping like a race mode down or back into the engine?
It's just back into the engine.
It's more of a street setup. Yeah, my only recommendation is like figure out some cool some ducting. Yeah, I have like this old flexible accordion style 3-inch pipe that I used on like a Mercedes I had. I tried to fab my own like makeshift intakes to the front, and super simple, right? You just zip tie it up somewhere. It doesn't have to be perfect as long as the air gets forced in here.
Yeah.
And it's only going to help you with those temps. So yeah, I see it started coming out of here, but nowhere else. So that's a good sign. Presumably, right? You probably were pretty meticulous putting everything together.
Yes.
Some cars come in here and they're just kind of like, revive me. Revive my bugeye, or revive my this. Cool. My vape juice put to good use.
Baby oil.
All of your logs that you sent me, were those like off of your laptop?
Yeah.
Okay. I should have maybe asked you to log the whole trip while you drove here. It would have been good driving data, but that's no big deal. We'll just go have some fun on my back roads. Okay. Can you plug that back in?
Yeah.
And do you want a zip tie of any sort to tighten anything up?
See how snug it goes back in here.
That smell. I think it's just smoke machine juice. Okay, let me fire up the laptop. I approve of the fire extinguisher.
Yep.
AEM gauges, that's good. Quality. Are these all hooked up? Oil pressure boost, good. Oil pressure is a big one. What are you running at, like fully warmed up and idling? Does it say like
25?
That's not bad. So when I had my hatch, it had a lot of miles. I tuned it to oblivion. Like I was pushing 25 pounds on pump gas, and I did every known cooling mod that I could do to try and keep the intake air cold to push as much as I could. It did start lifting a head at a time, and I had to, redo the head bolts, head studs, and, head gaskets. But after I put it back together, it ran like pretty low on oil pressure when it was fully hot.
Mm-hmm.
And so I even switched up to like a 5W50. And then I would bump the idle to like 1,000 or higher to help it, the oil pump spin faster. So 25 is not bad. As long as soon as you start driving, it pops up, you're fine.
It has the shimmed 11 mil from G.
What about pickup tube?
All Killer B.
Yeah.
Killer B.
Killer B's good stuff.
Pickup tube. Oh, there's
wasps.
Killer B right there.
Yeah, I gotta put out some wasp traps. Goodbye. Okay. Did you see my funny story about how my last laptop got destroyed?
I did not.
Okay, so this is my new laptop. I've been tuning you. I have a laptop in the house that has no screen anymore. I'm just linked to like a monitor. I was tuning a guy's GC8. And he had a roof rack. And so, you know, while you're tuning, you're like talking a lot and you get distracted. So I put my laptop behind his roof rack and he drove off. And then down the road, it flew off his car when he was doing a pull into like the bushes. So me and my wife went diving for it and she found it. Still works, but no screen.
No screen.
But this one's way nicer, like in general. Sweet. Fire it up. We'll go for a quick drive.
All right.
I will log it all. And then we'll come back and try to turn up more sauce. You said your idle is kind of high because of kind of what the speed density, or you couldn't get it to run right at a lower idle?
We couldn't get it to idle right with the cams.
Okay, they're bigger cams?
The lower idle, yeah. The Crowler 272s.
Okay. I've always wondered about like cams and stuff. I mean, I know it helps it breathe better. I want to experience it like driving around, see what it's all about. Okay, we are recording. A lot of people, when they switch to this Carberry architecture, they do kind of a blended MAF / speed density tune. So like for low throttle input driving, they still use the MAF because the cars seem to run smoother on the MAF. And then as you hit 50, 60, 80% throttle, it blends into the speed density stuff. I did definitely refine your volumetric efficiency map pretty extensively. We'll see if I need to do it anymore, right? Because we want it to idle better. And so I'm seeing it kind of jump around a little bit, but...
Left?
Yes. Because you have the iwire kit, I'm not exactly sure if I can switch it to like a MAF / speed density tune. Like all the other guys that I've done Carberry with, it is also straight speed density, right? Like Joel and a couple other guys that have been with Wally.
Yeah, that's who.
Yep, probably initially did this one. Wally does good tunes. I presume speed density tunes are just kind of picky for atmosphere and weather and temperature. Yeah, you can go left. So far, so good. Yeah, these mirrors look so cool, but I can't imagine seeing much out of them. The APRs, they did like wings and I think canards, little canards and stuff. You guys get together with like Subi buddies?
I have a couple.
I've always liked Subaru for like fall and winter driving. The all-wheel drive is awesome. Summer driving, it's fun to drive rear-wheel drive. You know, get a little, let it hang out a little bit. It's definitely done a bit of learning since you flashed this last revision, so I'll make adjustments for it. Mostly adding a bit of fueling under this driving condition.
Yeah, that was the problem we had with getting it to idle lower too, is it was just sucking in so much air.
Okay. Yeah, because bigger cams, yeah, it's just...
Yeah, the cams with the ported heads.
Even at your low RPMs, it's opening the intake valves a lot longer. So our intake temps are good now, right? 73. It's probably, I don't know if it tells you what the ambient temperature is outside. Probably 65, 60. I always tell people you want to be within 10 degrees of what the temperature is outside. That means you got pretty efficient ducting for the intake. If you want, you can pop it into third gear.
Yeah.
We can do a little short stint on the next straight if there's no cars and stuff. Maybe after this cyclist. Or actually, that might be a cop. So let's not do that. Yeah, let's just cruise it. I rarely see cops here, but you never know. I'd rather be safe. We're gonna take a left. There's a nice long, fun back road that I've never seen cops there. How did it do, like you said, on the freeway? What gears were you in? Like how high? Any breakup?
Hit third, went into fourth, and it did cut once in fourth.
Okay.
And there was other cars, we didn't even go into fifth.
Okay. We'll try to replicate it. It's better for me to like see the issue in person. It's nice when the car complains when you come to the tuner. People will come and it'll like act fine.
Yeah.
And then you make adjustments by ear. Like, okay, I'll try to adjust it here and there. And then like 2 days later, they're like, oh, it popped this random code, you know, for O2 efficiency. And you're like, I wish it did that while you were here. Presumably, most of your codes are already gone, and you have this setup. So if anything wonky comes up, I can help you over email. You're hitting 26 pounds. That's why it's cutting. This one maxes out at 22.3 and that one's showing me 26. That's why it's cutting. But it's not knocking.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I have the gate sprung pretty high, so if we can get it tuned for 26 or
sure.
in that area, that would be...
Yeah, that's kind of wild. Again, my car, I had it at like 25 and I ran it and then it did start. I presume you have stronger studs in it and stuff.
I have ARB studs.
Yeah. It pulls really smooth.
And I have a thicker cosmetic head gasket too.
Okay. Do you know pretty much with the mods to the 2-liter and increasing the bore what the compression ends up being? Or is there kind of a guesstimate?
The pistons I bought were stock compression, the
okay.
same ratio with the bore. The heads are on their last deck, which is also part of why I bought that thicker gasket.
Okay.
To kind of try and even it out, so I would say it's still fairly close to the stock compression.
Okay. You could try a little third here again if you like. Just see if it'll wind out. Yeah. It's interesting. It definitely has plenty of fuel. It goes actually like quite pig rich, which is normal. I was observing my AFR, but maybe on the way back, I'll take a look at your wideband and see what it tells me. And so that breakup is interesting. It's not knock because we have no feedback knock. But we'll just clean it up. I like it. And it's is it an IAG block or like you just had it a shop?
I just had it.
Not closed deck?
No.
Okay, just open.
Line mode and everything.
Yeah. What I've learned is what benefit of closed deck is when you bolt everything together, like your heads and everything on it, open deck block is more likely to distort slightly. You know, and that's why when they even do things like boring, they use a jig to put the case half and bolt it down so that presumably it'll distort as it will when it's already put in the car. There's so many funky things about Subaru blocks.
The place I took it to has been doing them for a long time. They have the whole torque plate set up and everything there.
Yeah, you can't just like go in there. My first Subaru build, I just kind of like, you know, dingleberried it in the garage. Got yelled at on the internet. But I was learning, you know, it was my garage build. It ran fine. Probably just consumed a little bit more oil. Do you know what the spring rate is on the wastegate?
I believe it's at 21 pound spring.
Okay, that's why we're spiking it. What's the fuel pump in the tank?
AEM 340.
340, that's pretty good. I have retuned a couple big injector Blobeyes. I've done one here in this town. The guy had a Wally tune, but it was like straight E85.
Yeah.
And he had like 1600s. And he wanted to go back to pump because it just didn't run right. You know, and E85 is far. And my concern was that the 1600s won't really idle well.
Yeah.
It was okay. We had to like bump the idle up, but it ran okay. And that car also performed really well on pump. Because again, he had mods for E85, all the supporting mods for the power, so you pretty much just maxed it out on 92, and that was that. So where that stop sign is, there's a big right turn. We can pop a UE.
Okay.
If you want, we can do a little pull in like first, second, see if it does the same crazy breakup.
I haven't had it cut in first or second.
Again,
yet,
yeah, the boost doesn't hit as high. That's exactly the same reason. And I'll keep an eye on your wide band.
Ready?
Yep. Wow. Yeah, fourth really wants to go when you get into it. Yeah, once we clear it up, fourth gear will pull hard. Zero knock. So it's all a matter of dialing in your boost and then all the other small corrections at low speed driving. I love this road. It's not boring for like people that come over.
Yeah, it reminds me of some of the ones we have out by my place.
Yep. I have a good friend that lives further up the road. He has like several BMWs, so this is his commute into town. He probably knows it like the back of his hand. Every turn, like speed that you can carry. No, these turbos, these 1.5s, they spool up so quick. I'm starting to like them because I've always had FPs.
Yeah.
I even at one point had like a Arashi 20G. It pulled well when it came on boost, but it took a minute to spool. So, is it a ball bearing?
Yes, I believe so.
That's why.
Yeah.
That's why it spools so good. They've even done, I remember years ago, I read on a forum, a guy had the same mods on his car and all he did was switch out turbos and he kind of used the same tune for all of them with minor adjustments. And the XTs, Dominators, whatever, made the most power compared to all the other, you know, Blouches, FPs, etc. of that era, like probably 2010s.
Yeah, I just decided to keep it
cool to have a rotated kit for like car shows because it's big and shiny, but it does come on at like 5,000. And then you have to build your engine to rev, right, to 8 or more. Yeah, now that you've been cruising, intake temps are 70, like perfect. Another thing about the intake itself is you want minimal bends, right? You want no 90, even a 45 is probably the maximum. If you want, you could do a third in here. Go ahead. Yeah, pretty good. That one didn't break up because I don't think it spiked because you started higher in the RPM band. It's always when you start around 3K, it likes to peak like 4,000 and it'll cut and then kind of pick back up after 4. We'll smooth it out. You also have good ignition timing. Like we're not, how do I explain this? A Subaru, full boost ignition timing, like I always gauge it like 15 degrees is a healthy engine. So you're right at that. Usually the older tired cars, I need to dial it back. Sometimes if it's like really knocking, I almost dial it back to like 10 degrees of ignition timing. So it's not always about boost, right? It's a combination of the two. And so it's nice when you can run high boost and aggressive ignition timing. It means all the parts are working correctly and working together how they should. There are tuners that will try to run lower boost, but they will run much higher than 15 degrees. So how does an NA car make power? They increase the timing.
Solely on timing.
Yeah, solely on timing. And so they do cams, like, to let more air in for that compression and pretty much. So the beauty of turbo is you have both things to play with. But yeah, I've seen Subarus run like 17, 18. Like usually those people have lowered compression.
Okay.
Yeah, by that point, so it'll be a 2.5 with like whatever, thicker gasket or a piston in there for lower compression numbers. Yeah, there's no like funky stumble on like climbing, so that's good. Have that tuned with like Honda data?
No, it's just on a chipped B28.
Okay.
But it's swapped with a JDM H22A. The short gear transmission.
Okay.
Factory compression of 10.5 to 1, I believe.
It's pretty high. Yeah,
obviously.
I love NA. My last favorite NA car was I had an E30 with a S50 swap out of the 95 M3. It revved so good, so high, and it's so linear, you just like the sound, everything. Like it's not the power of turbo, but it's just a pleasure to drive. Yeah. And in such a light, small car, right, 2,800 pounds, those 270, 280 horsepower out of an inline 3 liter is plenty.
They sound great too.
Yeah. A lot of the inline 6s are raspy, so people try to do exhaust work to get rid of the rasp. Yeah, like the M5, it's a spaceship. It's big and heavy. It's fast, but you're just like cruising at these speeds, and you're like, I could just probably drink coffee.
Yeah.
Like in a Subaru, you go over 100, you're like, all right, I'm going. You feel it. In a Beamer, you're like, I'm just cruising. So I love Subarus for that rawness. And I definitely loved like my hatch. I would launch it. I tuned like the, you know, launch control and stuff. The easiest way to use it, you probably don't have traction control on these older models, but on the new one you have to shut it off. And I'd find a patch of road with like some rocks and gravel, and then, you know, just like, I didn't dump the clutch, I'd let it build a little boost, and then you just kind of like very smoothly release, and it just pulls like 4-wheel burnout. People loved it. It's like people enjoyed going on rides with you. Maybe we'll give it a try. I have a spot. Does it activate on the defrost?
Yeah.
Okay. And then do you have to have the clutch all the way in? Yeah. Or does it matter?
I haven't seen if it'll do it with the clutch out.
Okay.
Defrost and full throttle, and
yeah,
just more and does its thing.
So that rally sound it gave you, in the launch control settings, there's a gap between activation and deactivation. I can make it bigger where it will actually sound more like a boom, 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 boom instead of the rally.
I don't like the cobb sound.
You like the rally? Yeah, I kind of like it. It's more menacing. What brakes do you have on this car? Are they upgraded?
All STI Brembos.
So you've done a full driveline swap? Nice. Rear diff and everything?
Yeah, the car had the fronts on it when I bought it, and then I got the rears from a friend who totaled his.
I love the STI driveline. It's so much beefier.
The connectors under.
Yeah, and you sadly you can't keep the dyno mode on and drive like that, because it gives a completely different like fuel map. It gives you like kind of like this almost as if your dam had dropped and you just had like a really critical condition. You're good. What is your gauge cluster? I've seen these before.
It's from Alumaesthetic.
Okay.
The painting is just the Great Wave, Japanese painting.
Mm-hmm.
They have a couple options for the GD clusters, and then they sell other ones for Civics and some other models. I'm sure they've expanded since I bought this from them a few years ago, but it was just a nice little touch I wanted to add to personalize it a little bit more.
JDM it.
And you know, the stock gauge cluster isn't exactly the most beautiful thing to look at.
Yeah,
The
just
WRX one at least is all black.
the STI one's kind of cool.
With the green lights.
What I did on my car, I remember I took off the bezels, the rings, and I painted everything black. So it looked really cool, like really dark mode all the time, except for my needles.
Blue LEDs back there. Right
Okay.
now.
You are good to start it, and let's see if we can idle it for a minute.
There's a little more chop.
A little bit. Wanted to get another nice side shot of this. Got some wide wheels and tires in here. I think there's no spacers. Just some 275s, 35, 18s. Got Brembos. The STI Brembos all around. You could probably stick out the rear a little bit. The fronts look good. The rears could come out a tiny bit. But she's rowdy. Pretty much ended up with what? Maxing out at 27 PSI on pump gas. Ignition timing, not low and not high, just a good moderate, like 15 degrees, which is healthy. But I guess built engine and all the cooling mods definitely help with pushing some power, even on pump gas. Feels butt dyno easily 400 plus, especially as you roll into it in that fourth gear. That one pulls really good. And she's off. Pretty much Carberry 03 ECU 16-bit. And she's cooking. speed density. Sometimes speed density is tough with smooth idle driving, but speed density does really good with the high power, high boost stuff. Usually when people drive off, I give it a good listen. Just in general, make sure everything sounds right. Sounds pretty good. Let's see which way it goes. Left. Hear that straight pup from afar.